there's something about each and every one of us, I do believe this, that is essential that someone else cannot step in and do. Like, even Hodor, going back to Game of Thrones, remember? Hey guys, have you seen Game of Thrones? Hodor, his whole life ultimately is to hold that door and save the lives of the people who make the difference, right? His whole life comes down to that moment. Everybody has like this moment, but were you ready for it? Or did you miss the boat? At the end of A Strange Labor, Marx says, there's an essential distinction between the person who has to work for a living and the person who doesn't work for a living, and that the person who doesn't work for a living sees all this like, oh, I don't have time for that, and oh, I'm so alienated in my work-life activity as a theoretical attitude. They see it as theory. It's just theory. But to the person who keeps missing that boat, which is to say, the preparations and cultivation of the self to become something that is going to be able to intervene at some crucial moment and actually make some kind of a difference or actually live up to some kind of a purpose or some kind of a calling. That's not a theoretical attitude. That's your life. It's your life being flushed down the toilet. It's your time energy going into products that you can't get back and you don't even fucking care. Yeah, cool. It'd be great to have a Nissan. Like, that'd be great. But also, that's not the whole reason I'm alive. I haven't even figured out the whole reason I'm alive. And the conditions for being able to figure out why I'm alive have been stolen from me. And all the people that I love, and all the people who care about my safety, my health, my flourishing, have a very low bar when it comes to what they think of as living. They have a very low bar, and it has been set by a standard of surviving. This distinction between the non-worker and the worker was very clear in Marx's time. And at the end of A Strange Labor, it sets him up to go into the next section called Private Property and Communism. And of course, for communists, it's very easy. But I do think that the lines have been blurred. And I think the lines have been blurred so much that there's a good case for being post-class altogether. I am for a post-class approach to everybody. My assumption is that even if you had that relationship with your parents, you didn't really have it. Even if you had the skole, you didn't really have it. You could have gone to some prestigious like private school. You didn't really have it. And that's because the profit motive is not the only thing that's running everything. There's also social and cultural capital accumulation in the professional managerial class that has itself become more important than profit, which is to say the performance and or simulation and or fabrication of pseudo-recognition has actually taken over the profit motive for a whole set of people in society. Profit motive still matters, but they are able to more or less live against it. We talk about self-actualization and going on long bicycle rides and doing relay races and, having sophisticated virtue hoarding kinds of sex lives or meditation practices or all the things that Catherine Liu is talking about. Oh, I raise my kids in this special way that's going to set them up to be able to get that kind of recognition, to be able to accumulate that social and cultural capital, right? So at a certain level, you might say, well, then that person has a different material existence than the working class person, the salt of the earth, blue collar factory worker, right? At a certain level, yes. But going back to how I opened this whole conversation or this whole lecture with conceptual distinctions. If you don't got them, everything looks the same. It's the night that all cows are black. Well, there might be, in the same way, with a certain conceptual distinction like class, the ability to see fundamental differences between different people from different walks of life. But I think that time energy, once understood, brought into everything on the whiteboard behind me, not just the concept of flow, not just the concept of learning curves, not just the concept of time energy or skull, but when it's all brought together and you think it through as a whole, the ground under these superficial contradictions also falls out. And we can say, class, that can help us see some things. But it also covers over a lot of things. For instance, the fact that we're all part of the fractured mass society, the fractured ass society. We're all part of that fractured class society, mass society. And we all are living symptoms of time-energy stultification, alienation, and the inability to find meaningful, purposeful flow. We're all experiencing that. That should be what unites us all. And these concepts should be able to help us see that. Thank you.